It's 1972, and Manhattan is a tale of two cities. Downtown, crime and poverty. Uptown, the city's wealthiest hobnob with celebrities at luxury hotels, flaunting their wealth. The line between the haves and the have-nots could not be clearer, and that leads to an uptick in violent crime.
It really was kind of a dark time for the city, but then on the other hand, you kind of had all these celebrities flocking to New York.
One of their favorite spots is an infamous hotel, the Pierre.
To rent an apartment there, for instance, it costs the equivalent of about $34,000 a month, so you can imagine the luxury.
On any given night, this roster of riches makes a tempting target for ambitious thieves. Which is why the Pierre has more security than almost any other hotel in New York, starting with its vault.
Back in the 1970s, when you checked into a hotel and you had jewels, you had cash, what you would typically do was put it in the safe deposit boxes owned by the hotel.
It's not Fort Knox, but you're not gonna get through it with a crowbar either. 12-gauge steel, about 300 pounds.
You can't get anywhere near this vault without encountering a security guard.
Even so, one experienced thief is dreaming up a plan to net the score of a lifetime. He just has to get out of jail first.
Bobby Comfort is a lifelong criminal. He is fearless. He starts stealing at the age of 7 years old. By 13, he's in jail. But Bobby's incredibly intelligent. He has a history of getting plea deals knocked down to lesser time.
When Bobby is in prison, he was doing what a lot of guys do. They research their next job.
Comfort spends 2 years planning the perfect heist from his prison cell. He knows robbing the Pierre is too big a job to do solo. So when he's released in April 1969, he starts looking for a partner.
He gets introduced to a fellow professional thief named Sammy Nalo through a mutual friend. Sammy Nalo is basically known as the tool man. He uses his hammers, he uses chisels, he can break into anything.
Bobby convinces Sammy that they should team up and go after a lucrative, untapped target, hotel safe deposit boxes.
About 18 days before the robbery, Bobby hires 3 outside people.
To this day, we only know them as City, Country, and Duck.
Sammy needs a man to help him bust open the boxes. City is a man they've worked with before, so Bobby brings him on because he knows he can trust him. Bobby hires Doc because Doc is a friend from out of town. Country's an interesting case. You've got Bobby at a card game, and he's looking across the table, and there's Country. And he's thinking, God, this man looks so dumb, but he's got balls. He takes huge risks. That's exactly what I need for one of my robberies. And that is how Country gets hired for the Pierre robbery.
Nalo rents an apartment a mile southwest of the Pierre. This will be their hideout before and after the robbery.
2 weeks before the robbery, Bobby Comfort checks into the hotel.
He notices that the night auditor opens the vault at 3:40 in the morning, and because he's checking the cash and he's refilling money, he's back and forth between the cashier's office, he leaves the vault door open until 4:30. Bingo, it's the perfect time to commit this robbery when the vault is already open.
As they get closer to the date, they go out and they buy some supplies. Handcuffs, gloves, and tape.
They need disguises, so they go to a variety of stores to pick out disguises.
3 days before the robbery, Bobby lets them know they're gonna be robbing the Pierre Hotel the day after New Year's.
They'll all arrive at 4 a.m.
The evening of the heist, they start at Sammy's apartment. You have Sammy and Country that are wearing wigs. Doc doesn't have a disguise because he isn't staying in New York, he's not sticking around.
You're ready. The pressure starts building. It's happening.
City, Country, and Doc get out of the limousine. They approach the front door. The security guard meets them. They say, "We have a reservation under the name of Dr. Foster." The second that they start stepping in, Bobby and Sammy race out from behind the planters, and the heist is on.
When they let him in, the guns fly, they take this guard down, and now they have control of the front door.
Like a well-choreographed strike team.
They now have 16 frightened hostages. Comfort assures them, listen, no one will get hurt if everyone just stays calm.
Country stays at the 61st Street exit. Doc is with the hostages. Sammy and City are attacking these safe deposit boxes with a hammer and a chisel.
Mastermind Bobby quickly comes up with a plan. Target the wealthiest box holders first.
Bam! The first one they hit, it's got money. Let's keep going.
They find the Red Sox owner's box, who has $17,000 in cash and $17,000 in jewels. They also find a Greek shipping heiress box with a necklace in it worth $400,000 alone.
Inside Gabrielle Lagerwal's box, she had one single necklace that was worth more than $5 million in today's money.
As the heist crosses the 2-hour mark, Comfort's fear begins to overpower his greed. He wants to pack it up, but Sammy insists on more time.
He's telling Sammy, we gotta go, we gotta go. Sammy don't wanna leave. Sammy found gold. He found the boxes. But Bobby's always thinking of the time because he knows the longer it goes, the better chance I have of getting caught. You gotta get out of there.
At 6:30, the first employee stumbles across the handcuffed hostages. Terrified, he runs into the street and flags down a police officer.
When the cops come in sweeping the place for physical evidence, there's nothing. No pictures, no fingerprints.
None of the hostages are willing to describe the gunman and are not helpful at all with the police.
Back at Sammy's hideout, the thieves have a different focus: their loot.
Bobby told me that there was $887,000 in cash and close to $10 million in jewels. $11 million in 1972 is equivalent to over $75 million in today's money.
They split the cash up, which is easy, and now they gotta think about what they're gonna do with the diamonds and jewels.
Bobby addresses the crew after the heist and says the plan is that City and Sammy are going to hold on to the jewels for 1 year. Everybody's going to get your cut, but right now we've got to lay low, we've got to disperse.
So what does the PD do? They have to go to ground. They have to go to their confidential informants. One of the things they're relying upon is for someone in this crew to slip up.
Just 3 days after the heist, Nalo, in desperation, calls Bobby and begs to change the plan. He owes a lot of money to the wrong people.
Sammy's a degenerate gambler. He's into the mob for big money. He needs to sell these jewels. What Sammy does is he starts going to different people to try to sell these diamonds. One is an FBI informant.
Bobby agrees to Sammy's plan to sell the jewels early, but he says everything's been too recent, we can't show our faces.
Bobby has a caveat. He goes, we got to get a front man. And he has a guy that's going to represent selling some of the heist.
Bobby decides to hire his friend Dom Polino to be the front man to go meet with an independent jewelry appraiser.
Bobby Comfort and Dom Paolino return to New York City and they check in the Royal Manhattan Hotel.
Sammy comes in with a bag of diamonds worth over $250,000 for this sale.
Dom Paolino leaves the hotel room and pays the hotel bill and keeps the receipt in his pocket. He then takes a taxi across town to the Summit Hotel where the buyer of the jewels is waiting for him. Dom Paolino begins to lay out Sammy's jewels out of his briefcase onto a coffee table, and he's suddenly surrounded by FBI agents. They frisk him, and they find the bill from the Royal Manhattan Hotel that he had just paid.
So Bobby's sitting at his room in the Royal Manhattan Hotel. He's awaiting Dom to return. He thinks this is going to be a quick and easy sale. He has no idea what's going on until somebody's at the door. They bust into his door. Bobby Comfort gets arrested. The NYPD and the FBI are very anxious to announce that they now have captured the 4 men responsible for the Pierre Hotel heist. However, they actually only have one. They have Bobby Comfort.
Pierre Hotel heist. It was perfect. No prints, no physical evidence, no information. Except one thing. One guy got greedy.
After Bobby Comfort's arrest, an informant reveals to the FBI that Comfort has a partner whose name is Sammy the Arab Nalo. They find out where he lives. And coincidentally, when they pull up, Sammy Nailo is just exiting the building.
And he's carrying a trash bag full of evidence, including a hammer and a chisel.
Sammy, who was charged with the diamonds, was going to hold some aside and double-cross everybody, and that's a low blow.
But neither Bobby nor Sammy ever revealed the true names of Country, City, and Doc. I guess there was still honor among thieves.
After his release, Bobby Comfort is never arrested again. Sammy Nailo commits more robberies while on parole, including one in a jewelry store where he takes 17 people hostage.
Sammy gets in a lot of trouble with the mob. Then on October 25th, 1988, Sammy Nailo is shot and killed by members of the Lucchese crime family.
Bobby, a chronic smoker, and he died of lung cancer at 53.
Only $1 million in jewelry is ever recovered from the Pierre Hotel Robbery. What happened to the other $9 million may never be known. Today, the Pierre remains one of the most prestigious and expensive hotels in New York City. And considering that the Guinness Book of World Records still has it as the most successful hotel robbery of all time, the Pierre Hotel belongs among history's greatest heists.